this morning, guys, go tag them if they should be on. Because ironically enough, today we're talking about meeting attendance. So y'all should make sure your people are on the meetings, right? So guys, I'm super pumped for what we're going to be talking about at the Builders School this weekend. I think that what we're going to talk about is going to help you guys a lot. Those of you that are field trainers, we're talking specifically about the fast start. Like that is literally what we were talking about and how to get people moving. And are like debatably the most important thing with your fast start is getting your people locked in and committed to showing up. Right? Because that is how they get the belief of what's going on. I don't think any of you guys that are regularly on these calls have any doubt that Primerica works. Right? It's just maybe a doubt in our ability to do it or our skill set to do it as fast or our ability to set and run appointments consistently. There might be some limiting beliefs around there, but that doesn't mean that that it doesn't work, right? And I think if we all would be, if we go around the circle here, I think everybody would say undoubtedly that you can make great money in Primerica. You're helping people, you're doing the right thing, right? So if that's the case, if we're doing the right thing and we're helping people, then why is it that we aren't tying our people down and getting them committed to getting on meetings? Right. And I think I was thinking about this last night, and I'm not going to go into details as to why, but it's like, it's funny to me because I will watch people come into the business and like just want to reinvent the whole freaking wheel and do everything themselves. And I did it too. Like we got promoted to RVP and I wanted to change some stuff up from like what Andy did. And so I started kind of doing my own thing a little bit. And then we, jumped the system completely when Mario bought Relentless. And that's not to say anything wrong about any system or any person, but it, guys, look, like when you have something that works, why run from it? Right? Then the reality is if it's not working, we then all right, here's the thing. Like I'm gonna say this in a very, I just sort of like stopped in the train of thought, Josh, and like this analogy hit me like a freaking bag of rocks, right? So or a sack of potatoes, whatever the analogy, whatever you get. So
I got my water. I can take the heat.
Good. So if all of us have the same vehicle, right? Let's say we all got like a Ford Focus. Like that's the car we're all driving. And Angie, you get in the car and it's not working. Is it that the car doesn't work? The system? Is it that the system's not working? Or is something wrong with your car? Something's wrong with your car, right? So what's wrong with your car? If there's no gas, it's not going to turn on. What's the gas? Your activity.
That's right.
Right? If you don't have personal, everybody type personal activity in the Zoom chat. If you don't have personal appointments, okay? Now, personal appointments come in two places. One, from you. Two, from your unlicensed trainees. Okay? Because here's the reality. If your people are not licensed, everything that they do, all of their people, all of their policies, everything like that is technically yours until they get licensed. Because there has to be a licensed agent attached to it. Does that make sense?
That's right.
So now, as soon as they're licensed, you should transfer everything to those people. Okay. And my laptop is dying. So give me 1 second. Let me plug this guy in real fast. So if that's the case, right? If I have gas in my car, what is the next thing that I'm going to look for? Right now, I'm not a mechanic, so don't go diagnose your vehicle this way. But put in the Zoom chat, right? Like if you know you got a full tank of gas and your car's not turning on, what are you checking? The battery. Okay, great. So you're gonna check the battery. Why are you looking in the battery, right? What's wrong with the battery? Who knows? Is everything plugged in, right? Are all the pieces connected? Is it leaking? Was the light left on overnight, right? Are all of these little system checks in place that need to be in place? Right? Your fluid, is your fluid there? There's so many moving parts. Guys, the reality is our business doesn't have a lot of moving parts. But most of those moving parts, the fluid, the battery, right? Like, did you leave a light on by accident? Like, if you just get your people on the meetings and you let the meeting do the work for you, that's going to solve the vast majority of your problems in the business. Because what happens is, and guys, like I've literally watched this happen currently right now in our business, where like people will recruit so many people and then they don't get on meetings. They don't get their team on meetings. They don't get on meetings. They don't get their team on meetings. And then what happens is nobody in that whole string of people makes any money. And then everybody's like, oh, Primerica doesn't work. No, it's not that Primerica doesn't work. It's that you didn't follow the system. Right, guys? I honestly believe that if somebody were to follow the system, they could build themselves a 6-figure income very, very quickly. Very quickly, because we really want to push for you guys to get to where you want to go. But the only way that you do that is by plugging in and following the system. It doesn't mean that you can't grow without a system. It just means it's harder. Right, guys? It's difficult for you to grow by yourself on an island. It's easier, I should say, for you to plug in to the system, never miss a meeting, never get your people's culture to never miss a meeting. And it becomes something where, like, come hell or high water, I'm on everything. If I call a freaking midnight emergency meeting, you should be on it. Why? Who knows? What are we going to talk about? No idea. But I'm going to get on anyway. Why? Because it's a meeting that my coach wants to see who's going to be on. And I'll be honest, sometimes I just call emergency meetings. I want to see who's paying freaking attention to Telegram. And then I'll talk for 10 minutes, try to give you guys some type of value while we're on there. But guys, here's the truth. Like, you're never going to win big here without getting big meeting attendance. It's so important. And like Andy would tell me, he's like, dude, until you have 25 to 50 people, really 25 is like the starting point. Because like, until you have 25 people showing up on meetings, you have to, every Tuesday and every Sunday, you should be calling people and getting them on the meetings, reminding them, sending the Zoom link. Like, he's like, we used to have people driving 2-3 hours to freaking Rochester Hills every Tuesday and every Sunday night, every Tuesday and every Friday for Saturday night training. Guys, they would drive people. I mean, there's people driving to the office. Now, I know some of you guys are like, it's not like an uphill both ways in the snow type of thing. I'm not trying to make it more than it is. But the reality is, like, all your people have to do is get on a freaking Zoom call and turn their damn camera on. Can I just be honest with you for a second? Like, if you can't, I'm not coming at any of you in particular, but you have to have this mindset around the meeting. It's so important. If you can't get on a meeting and turn on your camera 2 or 3 days a week, why on God's green earth would I want to give you any amount of time outside of that? Like, I'm just being honest. And it's so important because on those meetings, we give people, like, we teach things. Right. We've never had a Tuesday night training that I didn't get 1 or 2 texts after saying, like, that was great. Like, thank you so much. Like, that was a great training. Or a Saturday where somebody was like, no one's ever texted me and said that was stupid. like now maybe you get on I mean, I've been in trainings where I'm like, okay, I didn't really get anything out of that one. Like, I didn't feel like I got much out of that training, but you never know. I get something out of almost every single training. Like, almost every single training, I get something out of that I know can move my business or can move me forward or can get me excited again or keep the belief for 24 hours. It's so important that stuff works. And I'm not calling you guys out about not having your cameras on right now. I'm sorry. Like, don't feel like I'm coming at you this morning about I get it. It's 8 a.m. You're getting ready for work, whatever. No big deal. But like, I'm talking about like Tuesday night, Saturday morning, Sunday night skills, like the main trainings. Right? Like, if you can't get, like, not you, your team, your people that you recruit, what's the culture on your team around meeting attendance? Like, I'll tell you, my directs never miss a meeting. Right? Like, let me say that again for some of you guys. My directs never miss a meeting. Karen, Elian, Angie, Josh, Cassie, Lydia. Recently, Lydia started getting on every meeting. They never miss a meeting. Why? How many times have I called you guys and said, get your ass on the training? Like you have to be on the meetings, like do not miss them. Right. And guys, like it's a culture. Like, so think about it. Like, okay, from you down, how many people do you have on trainings every week? Are you tracking that? You should be tracking that like a hawk. Like I'm telling you, every meeting, like even these morning ones, like I pay, like we're at 13 right now. We were at 20 a month ago. Where's everybody at? Right? Where are all the people? Right? Andy used to say this all the time. It's like we recruited 100 people. There's 30 on the meetings. Where's the other 70? Guys, you've got to think like that with your business, because that's a business owner thing, is to track the important metrics in your business. And guys, every single time, every meeting, it's a 1-to-1 ratio of how many sales you're going to make that month. Right? If it's just you on the meetings, you're probably going to make about 1 life insurance sale that month. Unless you're like a killer personal producer, which is possible, but like we're going off the averages here, right? Because I'd rather play to the averages and be better than that than plan on being above average when the average is the average for a reason, right? So we're going to plan on the average. If it's just you on meetings, you're going to do about 1 policy a month. Now, some months that might be 5, some months that might be 0, but you're going to average out to be about 1. If you've got 5 people getting on trainings consistently, you're gonna do about 1. Guys, we had 20, I think at one point last night, we had about 28, 29 people on training. So this month we'll probably do right around 30 grand in premium again, most likely, because we're sitting right around 30. That's, if I could just be transparent with you guys, that 30 number is the number I believe that we can't get beyond that without y'all taking some ownership in your team's meeting attendance. Because at a certain point, like I'm just like the boss, right? Like you got to understand like people's mind, and think about your mindset too when you came into it, right? If you didn't know me right away and somebody else recruited you, you're like, who's Dan? He's like the boss, right? Like the RVP. I remember when I started, when I started, Andy was working with us directly, but I was like, oh, Nate's like the boss, right? Because he was like the next guy. But in reality, like we all want you to win the same. But when I call them, they think that I'm like the boss calling them to check in and make sure they're doing it like, but you have the relationship with them. When you call them and get the tie downs on the, hey, well, you're building a business for your family, for this, for that, right? When you do that stuff, like you know why they're here. You can speak to their heart a little bit better than I can. I just have a phone number and a solution number for most of the people, unless I directly recruit them, then I know a little bit about why they're here. But if I didn't directly recruit them, I don't know who they are. Right. And we're kind of at that, like, we're at that point right now where, like, I've been talking for 6 months, 8 months now about like, the business is going to explode. The business is exploding right now, but now it's like, it's at a point where our new level of low is like 30 by 30, which is freaking awesome. And like, y'all are going to get there too, but you have to take ownership in. My base shop is going to be 30 by 30. I will be the biggest team in Dan's hierarchy, right? And Dan's base shop. Like y'all, no one's an RVP right now. So I'm going to be the biggest in the base shop. And my team is going to have the most on training, right? I will have the most people on every training. I will, like, my team, like we're doing 100 recruits this month. My team will do the most. My team will do 51, because that way nobody else can do more than us. Right? If the goal is 100, we're hitting 51. Why? Because then 49 is the rest, and we got the most. And you have, guys, like, you got to be thinking like that, but center it for a season with your new people, tying the importance to meeting attendance. Get them on the meeting, get them on the training, lock them in, get a 90-day commitment, ask to hold them accountable. And then guess what? Hold them accountable. You're not being mean after you ask them for permission to hold them accountable, and then you hold them accountable. That's not being mean. Being mean is calling them and telling them you're not committed and blah, 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 and yelling at them. Not that anybody does that, but you didn't get on the meeting when they didn't even freaking know, because you didn't do the damn orientation with them. Right, guys? Like, we have to take ownership in our people. All right, I've talked about that before, and I've told you guys like this example before, but think about your newest recruit as like a newborn baby, right? Like that newborn baby cannot survive without you being attentive to it very often. If you have kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like every 5 seconds, like you got to do something. Right. And even like as they get older, you still got to spend time with them. You still have to make sure that they're doing the right stuff. And you're not going to go home and put your baby in a room by itself and let it figure it out for 4 days, because it's not going to work very well. You have to be there for them. You have to answer their questions. You have to feed them. You feed them audios. You feed them belief or motivational videos. You feed them a 5-minute phone call. How are you? I just wanted to check in. They need to know that you are real and that you care about them. But the more times you do that, the more times you can call out the times they're not on the meeting, or they're not doing the right stuff, or they're not in licensing. But it's because you've given so many emotional deposits that you're able to do it at that point. So guys, I hope this was helpful, but like, we have to get committed to our growing our meeting attendance. And I mean, licensing as well. Like those two things are they're lagging indicators in your business of what you're doing well 60 to 90 days ago. Meeting attendance, you can change on a dime. Licensing takes about a month for to follow up with your system to see how your system's working. But guys, we have to get really intentional around meeting attendance, really intentional around the growth of your team's meeting attendance. And here's the truth also, right? Like if you're, okay, here's a really good example actually, like of people, I know the actual order of this one. That's why I'm picking on this one. So Elian, Tammy, and Shanae, right? All of them are on the call right now. And this is the truth. Like Elian should be calling all of Tammy's people. Elian should be calling all of Shanae's people to get them on the meetings. Why? Because he's going to be an RVP, and that's what you do as an RVP. Until you get to 50 on the meetings, you're calling everybody, getting them on the meetings, right? But Tammy should also be calling all of her people, and Shanae should also be calling all of her people, right? We're literally, everyone should be calling their people for meetings, because think about it like this. If I call them, you call them, and their direct trainer calls them, what are they going to do late? They'll be like, okay, well, shoot, maybe I should get on this meeting. Like 3 people called me to remind me about it. It's not your RVP's job. Well, it is, I guess. It's not your trainer's job to grow your business for you unless you want to stay small. If you want to stay small and you never want to get to RVP and you never want to have a serious income here, then sure, let your trainer do all the work for you. That's fine. But if you want to actually build a business, if you want to have overrides and ownership, and you want to have the things that most of you on this call have told me you want to have, you need to self-develop like a maniac right now. And you need to be taking ownership of your business and let nobody beat you in the base shop in anything: licensing, premium, recruits, meeting attendance, calls every day, messages sent out. I don't care if it's freaking liking every post in Telegram. Nobody's going to like more messages in Telegram than me. Like nobody's going to welcome more people in Telegram than me. It's taking ownership in the base shop right now, so that way you can build and cultivate that habit and that routine. So when you have your team, you're the leading cheerleader. Like you should go back. I wish you could go back and look at Andy's Redline chat when we were in the base shop, because I was so engaged. It was crazy. It was like me and Andy were the only 2 freaking people commenting in that whole thing. But it's because I took ownership of it and I said, damn it, we're going to be the biggest in the base shop. When we went out as regional vice presidents, we were over 50% of Andy's base shop that month. But the next month we went out and he was doing the right thing. And immediately he replaced us with somebody else, and his base shop never lost the size because he was on his game, right? And that's the reality, is like you have to build something that is going to continue to grow, and it starts with you, and it starts with your attentiveness and your attention. So I'm going to share the screen and get into the docs, guys. We're going to go over what you got going on today. You should know these numbers, so please know them by the time I call on you. That would be amazing. All right, so I'm pulling this up and it doesn't want to work. That's amazing. Let's see. There we go. All right, so 52 today. I have 6 recruits and 2 KTs and an orientation. All right, and then Josh, 17. What do you got today?
I got nothing today. I've got to set some more for today.
All right, Karen, 14.
I have 6 today and a carry back. 6 recruits.
15. Thinking about getting to 15, huh?
I'm trying. Yes.
Cassie, 12.
I have one today, one carry back, and
One, awesome. How many are you gonna set today? You got, if you have one carry back, that's a 30-minute appointment roughly. How many appointments are you gonna set today?
I'm meeting with like 6 of my teammates too. I have training appointments. I'm gonna
Awesome.
I'm gonna try to get for sure above. I'll be above 15, and then trying to get above 20 for sure.
Get above 15 and get your people that you're meeting with, get them to do some type of social media post or something. Guys, if you go look at if you have people that are not licensed that are engaged, Michelle Labovitz made a post yesterday on Facebook. I can grab it and copy and send it in the Telegram, but there's a really good premium post for your people. Elian, 6.
So we got Shanae, there's one recruit appointment today. And waiting for a few people to respond back to set an appointment. So I will be over 10 by today though. Not that much.
All right. Jenna, 2. I think she got off. Angie.
I have 2 interviews today.
All right, awesome. Guys, so make sure we're filling out this side of the docs as well. So that way we can see where things are, like the closed ratios and stuff like that. So we can see what's not happening over here. But guys, get to filling this thing out every day. It should be a habit. Like you should be waking up first thing and checking it or filling it out the night before. So we can actually, because the docs allow you to course correct on the spot. It allows you to see like, oh, my personal activity is low. Okay, I don't have very many KTs set up in the next 7 days. I got to set more kitchen tables, right? Because it allows you to balance your business and see what's going on in the next 7 days on a spreadsheet without you having to go digging for it. So other thing, guys, get above 15, period. If you're not above 15, you're flirting around with Primerica. Like, I'm just be honest with you. Like, you are not full-time if you're not at 15. Like, you can be mad if you want to, but you're not there. So we got to get above 15. It should be life